Hello, welcome once again to MOOF. Please like, comment, and subscribe, all that jazz to this channel. And I am Peo, your host, and today we are breaking down another schedule from an optimistic perspective. That is what we do on this show in our quest to find the most overly optimistic fan in the NFL. Thank you so much for everyone who's been watching all these episodes. If this is your first one, be sure to check out all of them. They're on one big playlist. Anyway, let's get into today's video. Here we go. Hello and welcome once again to MOOF, the show where we are looking for the most overly optimistic fan in the NFL. We're interviewing a fan from every NFL franchise, and today is a very special episode because we are talking about the Seattle Seahawks. And I welcome in the legendary, amazing, fantastic YouTuber, Squabo Says. Squabo, welcome to the show.
Hey, it's an absolute honor to be on with you today.
Yeah, we're so, and now before we get into this, we have to acknowledge there's a rivalry here. I went through this with Jay in the Bay when I talked to him about the Niners, that this NFC West is going to be a fun division to watch next year. There's a legitimate argument for all four of these teams to win the division. It's going to be down to the wire. But Squabo, can you tell our viewers what are Seahawks fans looking forward to headed into this season?
First and foremost, we're not looking forward to playing the Rams because you guys have had our numbers. So I'm sure this collab is going to be a little bit more favorable for you than the whole Jay and the Bay one, because unlike that matchup, you kind of have the edge in this one. So you definitely got the better of us last year. The Seahawks have a lot to look forward to, and I think it all starts with, you remember how everyone was talking about how Russell Wilson is probably going to get traded early on in the offseason? Everyone was talking about that. I didn't buy it, but a lot of people were. Well, now not only have we mended the fences, we have grown together because of it. We've done everything he wanted, and because of that, provides optimism for our future, especially because he's the leader of our locker room.
I love it. I love it, Squabo. And I didn't give this plug, but if you are watching this and you are not subscribed to Squabo Says, you need to go over there. Link will be in description below. Absolutely subscribe to his channel because he has fantastic content. He covers Squabo. Actually, can you tell what else do you cover besides the Seahawks?
Yeah, so I do Seahawks, I do some general NFL and NBA stuff. Those are my main two sports. I've been doing a lot of NBA playoff watch parties. After we're done here today, I'm doing a watch party for Game 7, LA Clippers hosting the Dallas Mavericks. So definitely go check that out on my channel.
Awesome. Well, let's get into this. Again, this is a team that a lot of people don't know what to make of, but the Seattle Seahawks open on the road. They travel to Indianapolis to take on the Colts. Win or lose?
So this is one of those matchups that before we had the exact order of the schedule down and the schedule came out, I had Seattle losing this matchup because Frank Wright and Carson Wentz together again, that's a scary sight. They won a Super Bowl together even when Carson Wentz was on the sideline. So I thought that this was going to be a loss, but because of the fact that we get them in week 1 and it's still Carson Wentz going into this new system, and he has to refine himself and refine his confidence. Because it's week 1, I shifted it from a loss to a win in favor of Seattle.
Okay. I like it. All right. So you're 1-0 on the year, and then you go back to Seattle for your home opener. And as of today, the Tennessee Titans did acquire in a trade Julio Jones. So you welcome the Tennessee Titans with Julio Jones to town, win or lose.
Okay, so when I predicted this, they didn't have Julio Jones. So that's a bit of a change there. But here's the thing. Here's why I don't think Julio is a great fit in Tennessee. And here, I think Arthur Smith knows that, because Arthur Smith wouldn't have traded him to Tennessee. Remember, Arthur Smith is the new head coach for the Atlanta Falcons. He was previously the offensive coordinator for the Tennessee Titans. Why would you trade your best offensive weapon to your old team knowing that it would make them better? if it's going to make them a boatloads better. So I just don't think that he would have made that trade if it would have made Tennessee's offense too much better. He knows Julio Jones wanted a deep arm, and Ryan Tannehill does not have that. So I say the fit isn't a superb fit. I say he's still healthy in this game. I say this makes it much closer, but I still have Seattle coming out on top, especially because my biggest takeaway from the Tennessee Titans last season, yes, they drafted well at corner. Yes, they got a wide receiver. Yes, they did a couple of good things. I was horrified by the fact that they did not address their pass rush nearly enough. And that's going to be a major problem for them. We have 4 guys in Jamal Adams, Benson Mayoa, Kerry Hyder, and Carlos Dunlap had more sacks last year combined between those 4 Seahawks than the entire Tennessee Titans roster.
Okay. So you're 2-0 on the year. I like it. And appreciate the Julio hot take there. Then you have a bit of a road trip coming up here, and you travel to Minnesota, and you take on the Vikings, win or lose.
Okay, so I've heard a lot of Seahawks fans talking about how this is a trap game, and I could not agree more. We've beaten the Vikings many of the past years that we've played them. We always seem to have their number, but last year, it felt like the year that we were going to get upset. It was down to the wire, and we have that 2 fourth down conversions to DK Metcalf, one that ended up winning us the ball game. So we're going to need some luck to be on our side in this matchup, but I say we get the luck. I say we advance 3-0 on the road.
All right, 3-0 it is. And then your first NFC West division rivalry game of the year, you travel to the Bay Area to take on the San Francisco 49ers.
This one's going to be an L. I'm sorry about this. This hurts. I'm circling every team in our division as a 1-1 at best.
Okay. Yeah.
I think we lose at least one matchup, and I think our first loss comes 2 days before my birthday on October 3rd.
Oh, well, happy birthday in advance.
Thank you.
So 3-1 on the year though. Okay, you're still, season's still young, but then you get a short week and you travel to the new most expensive stadium ever built. It's against one of the greatest teams of all time, the Matthew Stafford led Los Angeles Rams. Win or lose, keep in mind, Ram fans, watch this channel.
so I unless I have it wrong here, I think we're actually at home versus the Rams in that matchup.
No. According to the schedule I have here, no. This is the Rams are home in this first one.
Oh, well, either way, I have us losing. So I'll give it to you. Look, we're still licking our wounds on a short week from the San Francisco 49ers, and it's going to be a really hard turnaround to, come back and face the Rams, who now have, Matthew Stafford at quarterback, and that's terrifying. Thinking about, how motivated he is going to be. One thing I will say about Matthew Stafford that Seahawks fans are banking on is the amount of pressure that's going to be on him. And in the past, when there's been a lot of pressure on him, when he gets into the playoffs, he hasn't necessarily operated the best under that pressure. We are just banking on the fact, we are hoping that now that he's in LA, the Mecca, of the West Coast, I'm just hoping that the pressure gets to him and he can't operate under pressure, because that's going to be one of the biggest things that terrifies us Seahawks fans.
Okay, but you're predicting a loss, which Ram fans rejoice. Woohoo! Da, 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 da. Okay, and then we got the Seahawks here traveling to Pittsburgh. Wow. Okay, hold up here. Seattle has 3 primetime games in a row. That's crazy. So it's a Sunday night primetime game. You're at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Win or lose?
Those terrible towels will be going wild, but I think we beat Pittsburgh. I'm not going to waste too much time on this matchup. Okay. Pittsburgh has a lot of holes now, including their offensive line. They drafted a running back in Najee Harris, but their quarterback is a major hole. We definitely win the quarterback matchup, and their pass rush, their defense as a whole, we have question marks now.
Okay. All right. 4-2. Yep. And then another primetime Monday night primetime matchup where you are hosting in Seattle, and the New Orleans Saints coming to town.
This is a scary one because the last time New Orleans beat us in Seattle, Drew Brees didn't play, and now Drew Brees isn't going to play. So There's definitely cause to pause, but I think Seattle gets the best of New Orleans in this matchup because I would take Teddy Bridgewater over Taysom Hill.
Okay, I like that. You don't think it'll be Jameis Winston starting?
I don't think so. And I hope that I would rather have Jameis Winston starting for New
Okay,
Orleans.
hot take. I like it. I like it. All right, so you're 5-2, and then you in week 8, you on Halloween, you are still home and you host the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, and Jacksonville's a team that I think a lot of people are sleeping on this year. I really loved what they did in the draft. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, and Tyson Campbell. They have 3 really good corners now with C.J. Henderson and Shaq Griffin, who they took from us as well. They also took another Seahawk and Carlos Hyde. They have done a complete roster overhaul this offseason. I think this is a trap game, especially coming off 3 primetime matchups, including 2 divisional on the road to Pittsburgh versus New Orleans. It's right before the bye. After our bye, we're at Green Bay, so we will overlook this matchup. It'll be closer than it should be, but Seattle wins it in the end.
Ooh, I like the little tease there. Okay, nice. I like that. That's cool. All right, so you're 6-2, headed into the beautiful week 9 bye. That's a great spot for a bye week.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of smack dab in the middle there. And then you are at Green Bay, as you mentioned. We don't really know what's going on with the Packers with Rodgers, but we still got to make a prediction here. So win or lose.
Well, Seattle has struggled historically in Lambeau, and just going all the way back, we've always struggled in Lambeau, and that it's always terrifying for us Seahawks fans when we have to go and play at Green Bay. This was one of those games, like the Indianapolis game to open the season, where when I just looked at our opponents before knowing the exact order of our schedule, I circled it as a loss. But once again, just like the Indianapolis game, the schedule makers gave us a break. We have a week off before the Indianapolis game. We have the entire offseason, but we also have a week off before the Green Bay game. And because of that, I change it from a loss to a W. Before the schedule came out, I had Seahawks going 12-5. That's going to change. I'm not going to tell you what it is yet because we haven't gotten through this all the way through the schedule. But because of the fact that we get them after the bye, and during that same week, I believe Green Bay is at Kansas City. So Green Bay is at Kansas City while we are on our bye. Seattle gets a dub in week 10.
Okay, I like 7-2, and then you return home for your first of 2 matchups where you welcome the Arizona Cardinals to Seattle. Win or lose.
This is where we get let down. We're going to lose 1 game to the Cardinals, and what better game to lose than after we had this emotional, we won at Green Bay, we finally beat them in their home field, we did it on the road, we locked in for our bye. We didn't have a bye before the Arizona Cardinals game. We're not thinking about the Cardinals as much as we were thinking about Green Bay. We're not as afraid of the Cardinals, even though they're in our division. So because of that, we overlook the Cardinals, we lose at home.
Okay, so 7-3, and then you have another primetime matchup where you travel to Washington to take on the Washington football team.
Yeah, I think we win this game. They have a really talented roster, but Ryan Fitzpatrick versus Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson has the edge in that matchup.
Yeah, every time. Absolutely. Okay, so 8-3 on the year, and then you return home and you host division rival, another primetime game Sunday night, and you welcome the San Francisco 49ers to town.
Yeah, I predicted San Fran wins the first one, and they are not going to get both against us. It's kind of like rock, paper, scissors between the Rams, Niners, and Seahawks. You know, the Rams beat the Seahawks beat the Niners, and the Niners beat the Rams sometimes. So I say Seattle beats the 49ers in this matchup on Sunday Night Football.
Okay, I like it. And then, so by my math, I miscalculated. We're not 9-3 now? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, 9-3. And okay, I always have to hype this up. And once again, if you are a Houston Texans fan watching this, comment below. This is like the hardest team to get a fan to come on this show for. But you're playing the team that, is maybe struggling to find some optimism. But you have to go to Houston. It's a road game for the Seahawks, and you play the Houston Texans, win or lose.
Yeah, so honestly, this is a trap game for Seattle. And I hate to say that because it's the Houston Texans, the worst team in the NFL. But if you look at our schedule, we play the 49ers, we play Houston, and we play you guys, the Rams.
Yes.
So these are our two biggest opponents. If you ask any Seahawks fan that's a true Seahawks fan, my two least favorite teams in the NFL, 49ers, Rams. You pick the order. I hate you guys.
Yeah.
And then before the Cardinals, I hate Green Bay, but that's besides the point. So it's between our two biggest opponents, and we're playing at Houston, the worst team in the league. How do we not overlook this team? They might not have a win at this point, right? How do we?
Yep.
And when you first got into YouTube was when you guys lost to the team that was
don't remind me. You're right.
winless against the Jets. So it is a trap game, but we are not going to lose the trap game, unlike you guys.
I love the tease. Okay, that's fair. Oh, that was a subtle jab at the
I love you, Feo. I love you. I love you.
No, all love Squabo. That's cool. Okay, so that's your 10th win of the year. You're 10-3, and then you have. Oh, you know what? You were correct before. My mistake. I had it flipped around. The first game is in Seattle. Now you're actually going to the greatest stadium in the world, most expensive, and there's going to be fans there this year against the greatest team of all time, Matthew Stafford led Los Angeles Rams, win or lose.
See, earlier when you were talking about the greatest stadium, and I was thinking it was in Seattle, I was like, "Oh, thanks for having a Pluman Field, bro."
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
But instead, obviously, he's talking about SoFi. Look, that's going to be a beautiful stadium. Have you been there? Have you? I mean, probably not.
I haven't, because I live over on the East Coast near Toronto, but I'm hoping to get there next season.
No, that's one of those games that I would love to travel to, even though I'm scared to travel to it because I don't like traveling to losses. And this is a scary matchup. You guys have had our number, but I don't think you guys get us twice in the same year, excluding the playoffs, because last year, I got you. But I say Seattle wins this matchup because we've been waiting all year, kind of like last year, how in the end of the year when we met, we had been waiting for that matchup. We had been building for that matchup. We had been scheming and planning because you guys kicked our butt early on in the year. So we had essentially focused our entire year at that point on getting back at the Rams and winning the division. So I think it's a very similar feel to this game. And hopefully if we meet in the playoffs, it's a different outcome. But I feel like it feels like the end of last year in the regular season, and Seattle comes out on top.
No doubt that is going to be a big game for not just the Rams and the Seahawks, but for the entire NFC West. That is a big game. That December 19th. Mark that on your calendars, folks. Yeah. Okay, well, you know what? So it stings. I never like it when people predict the Rams to lose, but I respect it. It's part of MOOF, part of the show. And so we have you here. You're 11-3. And then you are you're going back home and you host the Chicago Bears.
And so this is another one of those like the Arizona Cardinals after Green Bay game. This is a game that we are overlooking. This is a game that we are not concerned about. Every single year when Seattle gets to the end of the season, it doesn't matter if we have two home games versus Arizona and San Fran and they're both bad this year, right? We're going to lose at least one of those games. We're going to drop a game at home. We're going to overlook these opponents. Season's over. It's almost playoff time. We're good. We have, at least we're locked into the playoffs. Seeding is still on the line, though, and we're going to overlook the Chicago Bears. Justin Fields is going to be playing spectacular. Matt Nagy is going to be coaching for his career. Chicago beat Seattle in this matchup. This is a very talented roster that finally has a quarterback and a reason to believe, and we're going to be overlooking them. Looking down the stretch of our schedule, there's nothing after we face San Francisco and LA Rams in 2 of 3 weeks. Chicago, Detroit, and Arizona does not look daunting. We're going to overlook them and lose.
Okay. Wow. Okay. I love the hot take. Okay. So that's your 4th loss on the year. And then your final home game of the year, you see a familiar face. You welcome the Jared Goff-led Detroit Lions. Win or lose.
That probably felt good for you to say, huh?
I was thinking off, but yeah.
Look, we might come out of this with a kneecap or two missing, but I think we beat Detroit at home.
Okay, that's fair. Who knows if the Lions will be competitive at that point? We'll see. Okay, so 4 losses on the year, and then I have you you're 12-4, and then headed into the final week of the season. It's a road game. It's a division rival game. You have to go to Arizona to take on the Cardinals. Win or lose.
We have a bad track record in that stadium. It's where we lost the Super Bowl. It's where we missed all the kicks. It's where a whole lot of bad things have happened to us. Now Malcolm Butler joins Arizona. JJ Watt joins Arizona. They have so many new guys on that roster that terrify us. But we overlooked them last time. And I think that plays to our favor in this matchup because we overlooked them last time, so we're ultra dialed in for this one. We split every single divisional opponent. We were victorious in Week 18.
Okay, I like it. I like it. So that takes you to a 13-4 record on the year. And yeah, obviously, besides that Rams loss, I don't dispute any of your hot takes and picks. But like in all seriousness, though, it's gonna be a great season for the Seahawks. I think that they are a good team, and as much as I don't despise the Seahawks in the most loving way possible, and as Jay and the Bay and myself have declared, the NFC West is just one big dysfunctional family. It's it's going to be a fun division race, and Seattle is absolutely part of that. Russell Wilson is one of my favorite players to watch. You can't be a fan of football and not be a fan of Russell Wilson, even if you don't like the Seahawks. You can absolutely celebrate just how talented he is.
Well, it's a lot easier for you to be a fan of him considering how he plays against you guys. You know, like every time you see Russell Wilson, it's in a victory for the Rams. So a lot to be excited about.
You know what? I really think that Aaron Donald has some of his best games against the Seahawks, so that really helps. I'm sure you love Aaron Donald.
Some of his best games, some of my worst nightmares. Yeah. Aaron Donald have been involved.
And no doubt we'll see some Metcalf versus Ramsey in next season.
Look, I about the playoff matchup.
Okay,
I have to give you guys credit.
Let it out.
Look, I want to get some of your Rams fans to subscribe to me, so I got to give you guys credit at some point. You got in DK Metcalf's head. You 100% got in DK Metcalf's head, and that was the most disappointing thing to watch is DK Metcalf going nuts on the sideline, seeing Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson have to go up to him. And then predictably, I did a watch party for the game. So if you go on my channel, you can go back and watch as the depression creeps in quarter by quarter by quarter as it starts to hit me like, we're not going to win this game. But I'm pretty sure before it happened, I was like, look, we're going to try and do some stupid thing to get DK Metcalf involved because he was so upset on the sideline. And, I was like, hopefully it'll propel us into success. We can try and get him involved now that he's angry on the sideline. But instead, it turns into a pick six the other way and the difference in the ball game. So you guys did a great job of getting into our head. You've done that quite a bit. Listening to the sound effects, the mic'd up version of that playoff game afterwards is one of the most painful mic'd up versions I've ever heard of a football game because you guys are just like, yeah, no, we got you back. Like, have fun in Cabo and whatever you guys were saying. It was so difficult listening to you guys because you guys have such trash talk, Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey. You're so frustrating when you always beat us consistently. Doesn't matter where. Some of the most heartbreaking losses I've had in Seahawks fandom history were at the hands of the Rams. So credit to you guys. You beat us in the playoffs. You advanced. You ended up losing, but you still beat us, and you got the best of us at the end of last year. It's going to be until the season that we have a chance to get you back. So you guys deserve a lot of credit.
Well, definitely. When the Rams and Seahawks play next year, we'll have to do some more collaborations and maybe a live stream or two together.
Peo, I would love to have you on my channel.
Awesome. Well, we'll definitely make that happen. And Squabo, thank you so much for coming on. And if you aren't already subscribed to Squabo Says, make sure to head on over there. It's really easy. Link in description below. Squabo, anything else for our viewers?
I love you guys. Even though, you're Rams fans, you're still welcome on my channel, and feel free to leave whatever hateful comments you would like.
All love. Well, thank you so much for joining us on MOOF, and tune in next time as we explore who is the most overly optimistic fan in the NFL. Peo Time and Squabo, peace and out.